Historical fiction is a fun genre, and this particular author just had a great time with this book. It touches my heart, especially when it comes to driving vehicles that maybe you're not old enough to drive yet. But tonight, for Book Bites, we're going to explore this little bit of a genre with a very popular author. So I'll see ya at Book Bites. Hi everybody. It's Gretchen again with Book Bites with the Booklady, and we are in NaPodPoMo Day 7. And tonight I'm going to bring you a piece by a very popular children's author, a gentleman by the name of Avi. Yep, that's what he goes by, Avi. His twin sister gave him that name when he was about a year old, and it stuck. And that's the only name he goes by. He was born in 1937 and has gone on in his writing career was a playwright. He has won a Newbery and a couple of Newbery honors. He has more than 70 books to his name, and those books cover about 12 different genres. Avi is an amazing author of children's literature and young adult literature, and tonight's book is just a fun one that I have always enjoyed. We often had it in our school for Battle of the Books. I know we had multiple copies, and the kids loved it. It's just one of those fun things, especially for someone like me who remembers her father's stories about driving different vehicles in certain ways when he was very young, and me who learned to drive a tractor when I was about 10. So this story is going to be a lot of fun for you, I hope. And so we're going to start out with the book The Secret School by Avi. Chapter 1. On a cool Monday morning in early April 1925, Ida Bidson, age 14, carefully guided her family's battered Model T Ford along a narrow, twisting dirt road in Elk Valley, Colorado. "Brake and clutch!" she shouted. Ida, only 4 feet 11 and unable to reach the floor of the car, knelt on the torn seat and gripped the steering wheel tightly. Her 7-year-old brother, Felix, hunched on the floor before her and used his hands to push the brake and clutch pedals down. As Ida adjusted the throttle lever, the battered car, hiccuping like a damp firecracker, swung a sharp turn. "Less brake!" Ida called. "Where we at?" Felix called up as he leaned into the right pedal. "It's where are we?" his older sister corrected. "You're not my teacher, just tell me." "We're close, less brake." The car bumped along, causing the old tin syrup can filled with their lunch to bounce on the seat beside Ida. Behind them, dust twirled out like an unraveling rope, momentarily hiding the high ring of snow-capped mountains that surrounded the valley. As the car churned up a hill, with enough backfiring to suggest a small war had erupted, Ida caught sight of Tom Cole and his younger sister Mary, riding bareback on their mule, Ruckus. Best friends, Ida and Tom were forever talking about all kinds of things. Their plans, their friends, their families, what was going on in the valley. Seeing him, Ida grinned, reached over the door — the car had no windows — and squeezed the horn bulb attached to the outside of the car. Honk, honk! At the loud goose-like sound, Ruckus gave a little buck. Though startled, Tom skillfully reined the mule to the side of the road, then turned around and pushed his floppy flaxen hair out of his eyes. Seeing Ida's slow-moving car, he smiled and yelled, "Get yourself a mule!" "Join the 20th century," she shouted back. "Who's there?" Felix called from the floor. "Tom and Mary, now pay attention. We're almost there. Brake easy." The car finally rounded the last bend, bringing Elk Valley's schoolhouse into view. The building stood in the middle of its own small north-south valley, through which the dirt road ran. To the east, low hills gave way to a higher ground, woods and mountains. West of it was much the same, squat and square. The school building had a pitched roof and a small bell steeple at the south end. The painted but peeling white clapboard walls had 3 windows on each side. Beyond the school stood 2 privies, one for boys and one for girls. To the south was a small shallow pond. In front of the school stood a flagpole, not far from a water pump, as well as a lopsided teeter-totter. "Clutch to neutral and brake!" Ida shouted as she aimed the car toward its regular parking place, only to realize that another car, one she didn't recognize, was already there. "Hold on!" Ida screamed. With all her strength, she turned the wheel hard about, then yelled, "Brake!" as she grabbed the hand lever and pulled back. Barely avoiding a crash, the old Ford came to a lurching halt next to the other car. Its motor gave one more enormous backfire, sputtered, chuffed twice, then died with a shuddering sigh. "We're here," Ida announced. Her heart was pounding. "What happened?" Felix asked. "Another car was parked in our spot. I almost hit it." "Whose car?" "I don't know." Ida tightened the brake, then untied the rope that held the side door shut. With a squeak, it swung open. "Out you go," she called. Felix, crawling headfirst, slipped down to the ground. "I hate this," he complained as he stretched his arms and legs. "Beats walking 5 miles both ways," Ida said, as she got out and looked toward the school. She brushed the dust from her braided brown hair and checked to see if her blue ribbons were still tied tightly. Then she smoothed down her gingham dress. Of all the dresses her mother had made for her, this was her favorite. Herbert Bixler, Charlie and Susie Spool, and Natasha Golubin were seated on the school's front porch. As Ida and Felix approached, they all looked up. "Looky here," Herbert shouted gleefully. "I'm back." "And he's already tried to tie my shoelaces together," Susie complained. Herbert lifted one of his bare feet and wiggled his toes. "Guess I don't know much about how shoes work," he said. Ida ignored him. "Whose car is that?" she asked. Natasha, who was a year younger than Ida, replied, "Mr. Jordan's." Mr. Jordan was the owner-operator of Wally's Mighty Fine Emporium, Elk Valley's feed and grocery store. He was also the head of the school board. "Guess he can park anywhere he wants," Ida acknowledged. "How come he's here?" Herbert shrugged. "Don't know." "Is Miss Fletcher here?" Felix asked. "Inside," Charlie assured them. Charlie and Susie, who lived just over the hill, were always first to get to school. "What's Mr. Jordan's car doing here?" Tom called as he slid off Ruckus, then helped his sister down. "He comes for inspection?" As always, Tom tied the mule to the rear bumper of the Bidson's car with enough rope to allow for grazing. "No one knows," Ida replied. And just then the schoolhouse door opened and Miss Fletcher appeared. A slight, middle-aged woman with dark hair piled atop her head. She was dressed in a simple blue cotton dress. "Children," she said, "come in quickly, please. There's grave news to share." Oh, dear. And what does that have to do with the title, The Secret School? I always loved the way that Avi starts his stories and builds the characters just so completely. So he just is, his language, his use of words is wonderful. He has a wonderful blog called Wordcraft, if you interested in seeing some more of his things. But I always recommend any one of his books. Crispin is the Newbery Medal winner. It was beautiful, but Secret School for a fun, lively, great book about a little girl, or not so little, with a lot of spunk and determination to get an education. It's a great book. I hope you enjoyed tonight's book bite with the Book Lady and Nod Pod Pomo Day 7. Wow. If you enjoyed it, there's more books to listen to over on my YouTube channel on Images by Gretchen. But for now, that's it for Book Bites with the Book Lady tonight. So until next time, everybody, keep looking for the beauty hidden in plain sight. It's all around. But the first place you'll find it is when you go look in the mirror. And I'll see you at the next episode.